Welcome back to London Calling, the latest lowdown for every Broadway buff about what's happening on the other side of the pond. Later, we'll catch up with theatrical legends Dame Eileen Atkins and Jonathan Pryce, who are headlining Florenzella's The Height of the Storm at MTC. But first, let's take a quick look at which shows the Brits are getting into one of their infamous queues for. Speaking of Florenzella, his latest work, The Sun, is running to much acclaim at the Duke of York's Theatre, translated by regular collaborator Christopher Hampton and directed by Michael Longhurst. Meanwhile, Tony nominee and TV favourite Stephen Mangan is headlining a stage adaptation of the classic 1950s film The Man in the White Suit over at the Wyndhams, penned and directed by Sean Foley. William Finn and James Lapine's falsettos is breaking hearts over at the Other Palace, and we would be remiss not to mention that Waitress is still cooking up a storm at the Adelphi. Plus, calling all dancing queens. The O2 is playing host to the immersive Mamma Mia! The Party experience, where over the course of 4 hours, guests enjoy a show, a 4-course meal, an ABBA disco, all in the surroundings of the Nikos Taverna. The winner takes it all. Thumbs up to Sir Ian Mckellen, who has turned his 80th birthday into a very long and inclusive party. To mark the event, he toured his one-man show, Shakespeare, Tolkien, Others and You, throughout the UK, and he has now taken up residence at the West End's Harold Pinter Theatre. Mckellen regales the audience with anecdotes from his storied career, as well as performing extracts from some of his most famous roles. Thumbs down on behalf of Goldfish Everywhere. Just kidding, we think. An immersive theatre production of The Wolf of Wall Street, directed by Alexander Wright, is playing in East London. Audience members can witness the rise of Jordan Belfort over 4 floors, with the option of becoming a Master of the Universe broker type or signing up with the FBI to bring those aforementioned brokers down. London Calling is still in the process of establishing whether there's fish on the menu. Did you know that the first permanent theatre in London was built in 1576 during the reign of Elizabeth I? James Burbage's public playhouse was called The Theatre, and it was swiftly followed by The Curtain. Shakespeare's company tread the boards of both. The famous Globe was built in Southwark in 1599 using timber from The Theatre. A theatre district formed in the area, but then they got shut down in 1642 by those pesky Puritans. Wonder what they'd have made of Broadway. And now, it was a huge privilege to speak to Dame Eileen Atkins and Jonathan Pryce about their decades on the boards and why they've returned to Broadway for The Height of the Storm, where a loving 50-year-long marriage is faced with the inevitability of change. Thank you both so much for doing this. This is my first ever London Calling with a dame and a commander of the British Empire.
Thank you.
So thank you. You're both at the height of your careers, pun intended. What was it about this show, The Height of the Storm, that made you say, yes, we want to come to Broadway and carry on what we were doing in the West End that much longer?
I knew I liked Florenzella's work from the father, and I'd seen another couple of things. And I read it, and I was very excited to read it. And then after the first reading, very disappointed to read it because I didn't understand it.
Thought-provoking.
It is, but on the page, it doesn't come alive. There aren't many stage directions. So I read it a second time and began to understand it more. I read it a third time, by which time I was crying at the end of it. I completely understood it. And even though we did it in London for 3 months, I'm still finding new things here after a kind of 9-month break.
It's a great gift to come back to a play, to do it, leave it for a year or 6 months even. I love doing that. I love revisiting a play. And I was longing to get back to New York anyway.
And you're playing a married couple of 50 years. How have you enjoyed that relationship and bringing that to life on stage?
Working with Eileen is a complete joy. I mean, we've headed off from day one. We met. You'd forgotten that we met.
No, I hadn't forgotten.
We met.
I forgot the tea.
Married couple here.
1976. We met here in New York.
Which was your Broadway debut,
yeah,
right?
I
went to see him play the comedian.
And I met you for a cup of tea.
He says we had a cup of tea.
Yeah, it was a very British thing to do. We had a cup of tea in an apartment in somewhere.
Well, Jean Marsh says she was with me and she had a cup of tea with you. I'm beginning to think you went off with Jean and not me.
And it's an intense show, isn't it? It's only an hour and 20 minutes, but you are putting the audience through it.
It's very intense, but it's also very satisfying and fulfilling to do. You don't come out of the theatre thinking I've been beating my head against the wall for an hour, trying to get some sort of reaction out of the audience. You know the play works, and the play carries you, and lifts your energy every time.
And it's about family, isn't it, Eileen? So I think everybody can relate to that, and they relate to what they're seeing on stage.
Yes, it surprised me terrifically how much young people love it, and they do. A lot of people think we're in a two-hander. I think that's a bit to do with the person.
Yes.
And they're all good parts, which is always very satisfying to have that in a company, then everybody's happy.
It came as a surprise to me, because I thought I was doing a one-man show.
Oh, well, there you go,
but
Jonathan.
other people are around, apparently.
Now, I'm fascinated. Both of you have been attached to two of the biggest television shows of recent times, you in The Crown, you in Game of Thrones. Has that changed who approaches you? I'll start with you, Eileen. Have people been coming to you calling Queen Mary? Have they spotted you there, or not at all? Is it still Cranford if they've spotted you from television?
It's still here from Cranford, yeah, long goes out. I'm rather relieved. I'm not often recognised straight away as Queen Mary, which is rather a relief, really.
She's an amazing character, though. I mean, she's one of my favourite queens.
I loved playing it.
Yeah.
I did love playing it. But wonderfully here in America, one is mostly stopped by people who've seen you in the theatre.
Which is phenomenal.
Which is lovely.
But Jonathan, Game of Thrones, I mean, you played a horrifying character. Sorry, he was. High Sparrow. Yeah. I mean, how was that? Because obviously, I mean, that level of fandom is just extraordinary. I mean, has been a lot of people asking you for selfies and...
There's a lot of it, yeah. But they're, because they love the show so much, they're actually quite respectful.
And you are terrifying in the show. So
well,
that
I didn't think
helps.
I thought I was a nice guy doing good things for society. But there you go.
There you go.
And I don't mind any of this recognition because the show was so good. I mean, I had a great time making it, and and then they killed me.
They did.
Yeah.
Final question. What do you hope audiences take away with them from the show? I'll start with you, Jonathan.
People find it incredibly moving, and there's laughter on the way, but you hope for tears at the end.
And for you, Eileen, what do you hope audiences take away with them?
Well, I'd just like to tell a story of something that happened when we were on tour in London before we came into the Wyndham. One of the understudies went outside into the audience to watch the show, and in came an old couple, and they were behaving as a lot of old couples behave. The man had stopped talking to the woman, you know, she was fussing about a program and being irritated with him, and he wasn't speaking, and finally he got her a program, and they sat there and the play started. And at the end of the play, he put his arm around her, and it made me cry, and they walked out holding hands. And I think that's pretty wonderful for a play to have done that.
It is.
It's cheap marriage guidance counselling, really.
And on that note, thank you both so very much. It's been a huge honour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you next time. Cheerio.